Hello, hello, hello. Angel here. Welcome back to my channel if you've been here before. And if you're brand new, strap yourself in because this could be a really bumpy ride. Did I say my name is Angel? I think I did. Anyway, anywho, it's May. Yay! That must mean it's time for May's decks and my intentions for my practice for May. Let's jump straight in. Let's do this. Okay, so I've got so much to show you, I don't know where to start. I'm going to start by saying my main focus, one of my main focuses for this month is this beautiful, beautiful energy or archetype. This is Melusina. This is the freshwater deity or goddess. And I first found out about Melusina when I started researching my ancestral line. And I stumbled upon the fact that on my mum's side, I am, or we are, should I say, let's grab this book, we are related way back, you know, my great-great-grandmother times 26, pretty much, to Jacquetta of Luxembourg and her daughter and family line. And Jacquetta's family are apparently, or it's apparently said that their family has traced their ancestral line back to the water deity Melusina. Now, I found that really interesting, and that's when I first started getting interested in Melusina. And since then, Melusina has had a pride of place and a little shrine on my ancestral altar. Still to finish this book, I found it very interesting as well that Jacquetta and her daughter, Elizabeth Woodville, were both accused of witchcraft. That's another story, but that's very, very interesting to me, who is a beginner witch. Anyway, so Melusina is a major focus. I've been feeling really drawn to her energy and her archetype the past few weeks. So I really wanted to delve in and investigate that and look into it. So with that being said, I am going to be using these decks this month. This is the Rackham Tarot. These are the backs. I've edged mine in black, which I showed on my recent modification decks video. That's one of the decks. This is the Fairy Oracle, which is also by Arthur Rackham. He's the artist. Edged mine in black as well. And then I'm even going to be using with this pairing, or this combination of decks, the Magickal Botanical Oracle. I mentioned in my 2023 intentions video that I really wanted to look more into plants and herbs in 2023. So that's my plan for these decks. Just as a bit of a tip, I'm just going to say that all three of these are mass market. I believe this is Scarabeo. This one is definitely Scarabeo, and it comes with like this little guidebook. Just a little tip, those Scarabeo guidebooks come in different languages, and I always, cheap as chips, add a elastic band, dead simple tip, just to, you know, so that I know exactly which pages are relevant to me, so I don't have to keep looking through the whole book. So it's just a bit of a tip I thought I'd share. Anywho, so that being said, I'm also a weaver in Dawn Michelle's group, and you know, as a synchronicity or a coincidence or whatever you want to call it, the monthly medicine for this month is about fairy tales. It's Once Upon a Time and the fairy tales. And so I really felt that this, my focus for this month with Melusina and looking into her folklore and her story really, you know, was a great synchronicity, I felt. So these decks are definitely going to be used for that practice, is my plan. So I haven't worked with any of these decks at all, I have to say. Some of the images are repeated from the tarot into the oracle, just as an FYI, which doesn't bother me, but I thought it might be worth mentioning. I've totally been feeling drawn to like a medieval or oldie worldy fae dragon kind of energy. It's really bizarre. This is totally not my aesthetic usually. And like I've got to say, like the last 2 weeks in April, yeah, I've just totally been feeling it. And actually, no, I'm going to say the whole of April, because last month I used the tarot at the end of the rainbow, and that was also quite fantasy-like, which is totally not my aesthetic. So I don't know what's happened to me. So yeah, I'm totally looking forward to working with these, and I feel definitely these two are going to connect me to hopefully the Melusina archetype energy that I'm feeling coming through. What was I going to say? The first card that I pulled from this deck when I started looking through the cards, which I believe is this one, was the Knight of Cups, and that is my ancestral guide. That is the card that what's the word? Come on, Angel, you know this word. Represents is the word I was looking for. Apologies. This is the card that represents my ancestral guide, and I thought it was really interesting that, you know, in this deck the Knight of Cups is, you know, a female with a tail. It felt like a good omen. I like it. I like it a lot. So yes, so I'm really looking forward to the rest of these two, I have to say. You know, and I'm really interested to see where it takes me, where it leads me. As always, I'm quite happy to be spontaneous within my practice. So yeah, we'll see where it leads us. I'm going to take two more, just to give you, you know, a bit more of a glance at the cards. I'm just going to say that this one actually, the Magickal Botanical Oracle, I'm a little bit disappointed there aren't any proper, I'm going to say, keywords on the actual cards. There is some amazing, you know, excellent information here with the astrological and planetary symbols. And there's, you know, the guidebook is really a really chunky monkey. So I feel there's a lot of information in the guidebook. But I just wish, as a jumping off point, that there was a keyword on the card. That's just personal preference, I'm sure. So yeah, so let's take that last one and then we shall move along. Yeah, that's those. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to seeing where it takes me. Should we talk about the Deacon Walk? I think we should. I'm still continuing that, obviously, in May. And my plan is to continue it the whole year through, of course, until we come to spring equinox next year. Excuse me. This month I'm going to really try to use my Thoth deck, which is newly, super duperly, is that a word? Modified. I think I've mentioned previously that I've been trying to learn the Thoth, that system, but I just feel it's like, it feels so out of reach to me, this deck. And I was just thinking to myself in April, you know, I need to get over myself. It's a tarot deck. It's a tarot deck. I don't need to put this on like a golden pedestal. I just need to start using it. And so I decided to chop all the borders off and make it my own and edge it in black. And fingers crossed, I'm going to feel, you know, up for using it for the Deccan Walk. I'm also using the original Rider-Waite-Smith, and I'm even using the Tarot of Vampires because I've got that deck and I haven't been working with it, and I feel the guidebook, the information in the guidebook is really useful. So that's being used for the Deccan Walk, which will pretty much be used for the Deccan Walk the whole year through, I think, actually, to be quite honest. Okay, so I'm feeling a total medieval vibe this month. These two decks, with the thought still of Melusina, I'm still on the Melusina thought, I have to say, or thread and theme. This is a deck I purchased at the end of April. This is called, I'm going to show you the box because you don't want to hear me speak French, I promise you. That's this one. It's gilded in gold. Look how dinged up it is already. I've only shuffled it a couple of times. Holy moly. Anyway, I did mention this on my April wrap-up video. These are I got this deck in, looked through it, pulled this deck. This is the Venician Tarot, FYI. This is a deck I use for ancestral work. Oh, interesting. I was kind of playing with pairs to see, you know, what paired nicely with this. And this one jumped to my mind straight away because it's got the same kind of vibe, which I think you'll see in a second when I start flipping the cards. There is a point to this story I'm getting there, I promise. Anyway, I was playing with the pairs and these two came up together. And I found this really interesting. This totally stopped me in my tracks. And I have mentioned also in the April video, if you want to go back, I have a practice I started in April, which I'm continuing with in May, which I'm going to speak about in a second, which is this book. Bear with me 1 second. Apologies for the video being all over the place. I'm just trying to get in all the information at once. This was a book I purchased secondhand, Treasure Island, and I was using this book to use for poetry prompts, and I decided to look in this book, pull out some poetry prompts, and I decided to black out the words and use the words that really, you know, jumped out at me. So I found these words: ticklish, sorry, treasure is ticklish. You can see that. And the day after, I received this deck and started pairing these two together, and these two came up as a pairing. So we've got the dragon sitting on the treasure, and we've got this gentleman, the Knight of Pentacles, holding a little treasure chest. And what I didn't mention in that video in my April wrap-up was that he's also holding the umbrella, which also reminds me of the dragon wings, and I thought that was really interesting. And just to give you a bit of a synchronicity again, I pulled this card yesterday from the Beautiful Creatures Tarot, I think it's called. And I pulled this card this afternoon. And I looked through that deck and there's only 3 cards with dragons in them. So I found that really, really interesting. That's just an interesting synchronicity. We're going to get to that. Anyway, totally interesting, I felt. That was completely by the by and nothing to do with my May decks or May intentions. But I think these two are going to work beautifully together. And the reason I bought this deck? That's a great question. I've been looking at this deck for quite a while online. I think I saw it originally on, I think her name is Marina, Waves of Your Soul, I think is her channel name. I'm going to put it on the screen if I've said it incorrectly. And she was showing this deck, and I thought it was beautiful, even though this kind of artwork, and this is not particularly my aesthetic really. And then this deck just jumped into my mind when I started thinking about Melusina and getting these synchronicities through. And I decided to purchase it. And when I kind of like, you know, flicked through a couple of cards once I got the deck and was looking, you know, looking through, and I'm going to show you a card. Oh, here we go. That's swung it for me. The Melusina card, which I thought was very interesting. So yeah, what can I say? It's all you know, there's definite synchronicities going on there. So I'm really looking forward to working with these two as well. It feels it's going to be, you know, a month focusing a lot on Melusina's folklore. That's fine by me. As I mentioned, this is an ancestral deck, or a deck that I've used for ancestral work. It was originally an eBay purchase, so a pre-love deck. So yeah, really looking forward to, you know, working with these two beauties and seeing what they have to tell me. If they have to tell me anything, we shall see. We shall see. Okay, so that's those two. Then I've already mentioned about the medieval vibe I've got going on. This is another deck that I want to pop into the mix. This is the Medieval Mischief Tarot. You see a theme, right? I felt totally drawn to work with this one this month as well. I don't know, it's all very bizarre. This is a new deck to my collection. I know we're not talking about my low buy year. We're not talking about that. Totally felt drawn to it. Totally bought it. Should I have? Probably not. But you know, done is done. There's no point crying over spilt milk now, is there? What's a tarot deck between friends? I won't tell if you won't tell. So yeah, I love the artwork. You know, I tend to be a really colourful deck kind of person, but these decks this month they're just ringing my bell. They're floating my boat. Yeah, I love it. So that's another one that's going to go into the mix. My last pairing is these two. I feel this goes along the whole fairy tale theme again. This is I've just spoken about it. What's it called? The Beautiful Creatures Tarot. I'm sure that's the name of it. I've edged mine. Sorry, I've modified mine slightly. I chopped off the beautiful purple gilding. It was very, very sharp on my hands, and I loved it, but I couldn't live with it, so it had to go, I'm afraid. And I edged mine in black. Anyway, so these are the cards I've just spoken about. They came from this deck, obviously, and I really, really feel it's going to pair really well with this deck, which is the Heal Yourself reading cards, which I've had since I started my practice. These usually sit on my self-love altar, and I haven't been using them very much recently, so I thought these would be perfect. So let's do this and this. These will fit really nicely with this deck. Now, I really like this deck that's got keywords on it. This is the card that I pulled with this a little bit earlier, which is really interesting because this totally made me think of self-sabotage, I have to say, like treachery towards myself. And then I pulled that card and I was like, oh, ooh, yeah, there we go. That was the answer to that one. So, yeah, really looking forward to it. This deck is quite body beautiful, I would say, which, you know, it doesn't bother me, but it's just worth mentioning. I really like the guidebook, I have to say, with this one. And the guide, I'm going to show you the guidebook actually. I'm a bit cheeky like that. And you know, why not? Just to give you a bit of an idea, there's, like, you know, a full colour picture, and then you've got your title, a bit of a key phrase almost, then you've got the message, and you've even got an action, which I think is really, really good. So it's not just give you a message and, you know, bish bash bosh, off you go, there's your message. It gives you something to work on as well, which I think is really, really really nice touch, really nice detail to this guidebook. It's by this creator, in case you're wondering. Mass market. You can definitely get your hands on that on like somewhere like Amazon, for instance. So yeah, I think this is going to be a really, really interesting and enjoyable pairing, I have to say. I'm really looking forward to working with it. Gordon Bennett, I've got so many decks to work with this month. How am I going to fit them all in? I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to try. I'm going to do my best. I'm feeling positive. Let's take a couple more. I'm sure you've seen both these decks before, but they do pair really nicely, in my humble opinion. And we're going to take one more. So yeah, so that's those. What else have we got here now? So that was that. Let's move these out of the way. So I think those are the decks. If memory serves correctly, those are the decks. That's enough on those decks. Should we do some books that I'm planning on reading? I'm going to do my best to try and read, obviously based on the folklore of Melusina. I'm going to be reading this one, and even this one. And last month I've actually got two others about Melusina, because, you know, I went all in and crazy when I started researching about Melusina, and I actually read this one last month, which is really interesting. So that is that. Yeah, I'm going to say that I just showed this book a wee second ago. Oh, actually, no, let's show this last book. Actually, let's keep books together. We're going to be all over the show. We'll be jumping here and there and everywhere. This is an eBay purchase, The Spiral Dance, a rebirth of the ancient religion of the great goddess, Starhawk. Rituals, invocations, exercise and magic. This is a special 20th anniversary edition. It's been well loved. It's been well flicked through, well thumbed, and I like that a lot. I like the energy of the book, I have to say. It's like, it's all dog-eared and yummy scrummy. I like that. Saw it on eBay and I was like, yeah, I want to get me some of that. So that's also going to be a read for this month. Fingers crossed. I'm holding my thumbs and my toes and everything to make sure that I, you know, get my bum in gear and read. And read. So that's another read for this month. I just showed this book, Treasure Island. I really have been I really wanted to include more poetry into my practice, and I mentioned that last month, or in my April wrap-up, which was a practice that I started in April. The plan is to use this book to find prompts to prompt me to create some poetry and even possibly some artwork. This was a second-hand book that I found in the charity shop, and I really liked it because the paper is absolutely amazing. It's really thick, and the paper looks actually hand cut, which I'm sure it's not, but it's supposed to look, you know, oldie worldy. So that's a practice I'm continuing with. The decks I'm using for that's a great question. Shall I grab them out? Shall I show you? I'll show you the box. I showed these in my what's it called? My April wrap up. Lorenzi Tarot, and even the just make sure I'm not leading you astray. No, it's not that one. I'm lying to you, aren't I? I'm even lying to myself. I'm usually so well prepared. What's going on? I think it's this one. I do believe it's this one. Am I correct? I always get these two mixed up, but I'm going to say that Faceted Garden and the Lorenzi Tarot. I'm saying it wrong, aren't I? I'm going to say that one of these works. I've got it written down. I promise you, I've got it written down. I've got so many decks. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what, you know. I'm all over the show. One of these beauties I pair with the Lorenzi Tarot to create poetry, which I then write in this super duper book, which I made for my poetry practice in April. So it goes in there. That's a practice I'm continuing with in May. Oh, holy moly. And this is another practice I started also in April. I've got so many decks everywhere. And I mentioned it in my April wrap-up. That is these 3 decks. The other one, the one that I'm not using for the poetry, I can't remember because my brain's gone to jelly. These 3 decks I use for, this is going to sound dead strange, for my connection to the birch tree. And I know it sounds very bizarre. I was out in the woods today. I took a detour on my way home from work and I walked through the woods. And I was looking at all the beautiful birch trees and the beautiful bark. And yeah, I mentioned it in the April's wrap-up that I was looking at the birch trees, and I came home and was looking at the pictures on my phone. This was back in April, and I was looking at the lines on the bark, and this deck totally jumped into my brain out of nowhere. And I was thinking about the line work in this deck, which totally made me think that I could in some way connect to the energy of the birch tree through this deck, which I haven't been using previously. I have not found a way to use this in my practice, and I feel that that's the doorway in. I feel the Guardian Tarot is another one. Bought it earlier in my practice. It's been sitting on my tarot shelf, and this one screamed at me because obviously it's, you know, we've got these guardian spirits, guardian tree spirits, and then I'm totally sorry, it's one of these ones I've also been using with this pairing, but I can't remember which one because my brain's gone to mush. So it's a practice I'm working with again in May. I mentioned in the April wrap-up video that I wanted to go out and take my tarot deck with me out to the woods and to look at the birch trees and to connect with the energy whilst out in the woods. I haven't done that yet. I went out today, as I mentioned, on the way back from work, and I didn't have my tarot deck with me, and I wouldn't have felt comfortable having my tarot deck with me either. I don't know. I'm a closet, you know, I'm a broom closet beginner witch, and my tarot practice is, you know, in the broom closet, and I don't know, taking a tarot deck outside makes me a bit nervous. I need to get over myself and do it because I totally want to do it. I totally want to do it, basically. And I was standing in front of this beautiful birch tree today, and I wanted to hug it. I know it's just so lame. When I say it out loud, it sounds, you know, totally lame, but I just wanted to hug it, and then I wanted to, you know, take my deck out and pull some cards, but I didn't dare because I didn't have my deck with me and because I'm a wuss. But I just need to get over myself. I need to stop being a pansy and just do it, don't I? Tell me in the comments. Tell me to stop being a pansy and to, you know, just do it. So yeah, what else have we got for May? Oh yeah. Oh, I tell you what. I found an excellent, super duper new creative project to take part in May, and it's called the Messy May Challenge. Am I getting this in? Probably not. It's on Instagram. Go over to Instagram and look up the hashtag Messy May. It's a month project. As the name suggests, it's about being, you know, messy, keeping it simple. It's a daily-ish journal prompt practice for the month of May, and this is my folder that I've created for that project. It's, you know, it's supposed to be dead basic, dead simple, you know, but I love it because it's colourful. I made this out of an Amazon package. You know what you get your book, you know what you get your books and all your tarot decks in. I made it out of one of those, and I ripped off the sticky strip, and it took off some of the cardboard and exposed this underneath, this corrugated cardboard underneath. And I was like, ooh, I'm totally going to use that. And this totally gives me like a amethyst vibe. I don't know. I promise you, I'm not on any kind of narcotic or anything like that. I'm just crazy. Anyway, so my plan is. I should stop talking. I'm digging myself into holes here, honestly. My plan is with this is to, it's obviously got flaps, which, you know, totally works for me. The point was that, you know, you know, the first prompt was to make a journal, a messy art journal, a messy May art journal, and I didn't want to make a journal, to be honest, because I've made quite a few journals recently, and I really wanted to just make a folder. So these are my papers for each prompt, which I'm going to then pop into, you know, here to keep it safe. However, I'm also feeling very, very inspired to decorate a pack of playing cards with a prompt today. I don't know. So I'm gonna. This is the possibility as well. I'm gonna see where it takes me. So looking forward to it. I do love me some good old, you know, arts and crafting, and yeah, getting messy, and yeah, and Messy May. It was like, oh, that's totally got my name written all over it. So that's that. I'm just gonna tell you, this little bag here, this came with a Christmas pudding in it. It's true. Strange but true. What was the other thing I was going to say to you? Oh yeah. I know what I was going to say. This is the bag. Did I show you the bag? Okay, so that's that. Looking forward to doing that in May. And my last, what's it called? Project in May is, I'm going to grab it. So unprepared, so unprofessional. My altered book project. Yip-de-doo! This is so heavy. I'm going to give you a quick look. This isn't finished, but this was my ripped page prompt that I haven't finished yet. Can you guess what it is yet? It's Melusina, of course. I ripped up the scales. This is supposed to represent her beautiful tail. The scales on her tail. So I used acrylic paint on a piece of paper, excuse me, and then went over it with oil pastels, and yeah, and then ripped up the page to make these scales, glued them on separately, one by one. Took quite a bit of time, but I enjoyed it. And then I really wanted to, you know, include a picture of, or a painting of Melusina as well, to honour her. And yeah, my work that I'm planning to do with her this month. So this isn't finished, obviously. And I kind of got this far, and then I got really nervous about drawing her hair, but that it will sort itself out. It will sort itself out. I'm going to do a proper walkthrough of this on the channel, so keep your eye out for that. That's going to be an April wrap up for my altered book project. Yeah. Yeah, I think we're pretty much done. I can't come upon anything else that is jumping to my mind right at this moment, I have to say. Um, so yeah, that is my deck, or those are my deck choices and my practice intentions for May. What are your intentions for May? What are you planning on doing this month? Are you planning on taking it, a bit easy? Are you planning on, doing the deck and walks? Maybe even starting the deck and walk. Anyone can jump in at any point. Yeah, let me know in the comment section. I'd love to know what decks you're using this month and what you're pairing them with, because I'm a nosy, cheeky monkey like that. I'm going to thank you so much for staying and watching to the bitter end. And I'm going to wish you a lovely morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in the world. Take care, and I really hope to see you next time. Toodaloo.